deportation for almost 18 years. He has kids here. He worked hard. He paid his taxes. And up to now, he couldn't be regularized. So after 18 years, finally he has a lawyer who said that he'll find a way for him, and he asked him for his back taxes and all those stuffs. So we want to know whether there is still possibility for the deportation to be avoided and for him to be a green card holder. Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir. And you've raised a very common and unfortunate scenario, and that is someone comes to the United States, was misinformed, misdirected, somehow ended up with an order of deportation because they, for example, they didn't show up. They moved, they didn't get the address. As you said, it's called an order in absentia. In your absence, you were ordered deported. Those cases can be reopened. 18 years is a little bit long. We'd like to see if he had gone to an attorney between that date and today to show that he tried to get help, again, because immigration wants you to be responsible for your life. So if we could show that he went to get counsel and people said, forget about it, you got an order, there's nothing you can do, we can use that to show that this man tried to fix his case and everyone kept telling him he couldn't. Now my question to your friends is, why should the judge reopen his case? Is he still going to be killed if he goes back to his country? Or is it because of another reason? Because now he's married to a U.S. citizen. So there's got to be a reason to get your case reopened. That's what's important. If it's a marriage, it's that approval on an I-130. If it's the political situation, for example, let's say he's from Cote d'Ivoire. He came here 19 years ago, 20 years ago. During that time, he was having political problems. He got messed up by either an attorney or a friend who told him to do something, and he missed his court date or he didn't go. Now Cote d'Ivoire is having so many serious problems. He will ask to have his case reopened, really to revive his old asylum application, saying, look, if I go back, I'm still going to have very serious problems, and my children are going to have problems. So he would have to do a motion to reopen. Taxes will not play a definitive, but maybe the lawyer's trying to show that he was like a good man and he paid taxes. But for a refugee case, taxes don't really help you that much. It's really about whether or not you prove your claim that you're going to have problems back in Cote d'Ivoire. Yes, ma'am.
Your husband passed away or your wife passed away, and you want to marry it again.
Yes.
Do you need any form or
Death certificate. That'll be one of the supporting documents, right, Marcia? Yeah. So yeah, when there's the death, the marriage terminates. It ends right there and then. Okay, ma'am. Okay, you're selling on the street as a vendor and you got arrested and you paid a fine. For the 10-year case, for the cancellation of removal? Well, for the cancellation of removal, it will affect it a little bit. You'll need the criminal disposition. But most of the time, those are misdemeanors. So it really shouldn't play a part. But if it's considered a felony, there are certain problems you're going to face. But if it's arrested, you paid fines, things like this, unless you were arrested because you were in an intellectual property knockoff bags and there was a big sting operation and you had to go to court and you were the one that went to Thailand to get the bags and you're the mastermind behind the Louis Vuitton bag conspiracy. If it goes to that level, you're going to have a problem. But a misdemeanor, usually it's not a problem. Right, yeah, it's less than a crime, and after 6 months it goes away, yeah. Ma'am? You have a cousin who lives in Florida? Yes. Yes. Yes.
to know if you want to live, if you want to live with a husband,
Well, again, looking to a marriage, how do we know that the marriage is a genuine, bona fide marriage? You share time and you share money.
because your husband, you want to move into it, but you don't want to
Well, I mean, under a circumstance like that, they can file the papers. By the time they have their interview in Florida, they'll be living together, and they can show that she traveled to see him in New York. And there's a medical issue, so there's maybe a time issue that you want to get it filed before his situation gets worse. But that can be worked out. Yeah, that can be worked out. That can be worked out. I'm going to move on just a little bit more. I know everybody has a lot of questions, but I want to get a few more points of information. What we just talked about, all of that was relief from removal. Again, relief to not get you removed or deported. Okay? There are some specialty visas that are available that people don't know about that are very, very good visas. One of them is called a U visa. And this U visa is issued to you if you qualify under certain requirements. And it involves criminal activity in the United States. If you've been a victim of a crime, you might be able to get a green card, even if you have a deportation order, even if you entered with no papers. It's a very good visa, and I'm going to turn this over to Amy. She's going to talk a few minutes about what the requirements of a U visa are and how you can process to get your green card through a U visa.
Hello everyone, how are you? My name's Amy, and so as Teresa was saying, there is another way to get a green card, and that is through the U visa. There are 4 requirements that you need to show to be eligible to qualify for a U visa. The first thing you must show is that you have been a victim of a crime. Okay? This means that you were harmed as a victim because of someone else's criminal act against you. Okay? The second element or thing that you need to show is that it is a crime that is enumerated or listed, or a crime that will qualify you, that we can talk about later. We can give some examples later. But it's basically a list of certain crimes that will qualify you for the U visa. The third part is that you have been actually harmed, either mentally or physically, by the criminal act against you. And then the fourth requirement is that you helped apprehend the person who hurt you. You helped the police get the bad guy. You helped the prosecutor in court testify against the bad person who did the bad thing to you. Okay? So these are some, and then you also have to show that you're a person of good moral character. But the good thing about the U visa is that it will excuse certain things. So if you entered without inspection, if you worked without authorization, a U visa can also be filed while you are in deportation proceedings. So that's a good thing, but again, you have to get it adjudicated. The judge has to decide the U visa petition.
Amy, what are some of the crimes that are enumerated that would qualify someone for a U visa?
Some of the crimes are domestic violence, harassment, assault, battery. In New York, assault or battery is assault, but anyway, if rape,
Usually violent crimes.
yeah, violent crimes.
So if you, a taxi driver, God forbid, gets shot in the head or stabbed or beaten up while you're doing your job, which unfortunately does happen, and you've suffered, now you can't work because you're paralyzed or you lost use of your arm or you're just too traumatized to ever even go into a taxi cab again, and you helped find the bad guys, even if they didn't find the bad guys, but you said to the police, I'll do what you want me to do. I'll look at a lineup, of course. You might be eligible for the visa. What's the processing time on the visas?
The processing time after you file the U visa is about 6 months, and then after you've had the U visa for 3 years, you can adjust your status to get a green card.
So you can get a green card because you've been a victim of a crime in the United States.
And you helped get the person
Right.
who harmed you.
Thank you, Amy. So that's a visa that a lot of people don't know about. You definitely should speak to someone if you've suffered. Now, you know, if you got pickpocketed, don't come and see us about that because that's not going to happen. But if you were physically attacked and you have scars or you have mental trauma or, God forbid, you were sexually assaulted or raped, definitely go see someone about this visa because you might be able to get a green card for yourself and your family. And everything that is spoken about in a lawyer's office is private and confidential, should not be shared with anyone else. So you should be able to come freely and speak to an attorney and tell them what may have happened to you. Okay? Yes?
Perfect example that happened in 1989. I don't know if everybody's aware of the Amadou Diallo that was the gentleman that had a broomstick that was up his rectum. That's a perfect example of somebody who could be a victim of a U visa.
And, yeah,
Unfortunately,
that's
he
done
by the police report.
Right. Anything very severe, clear it with an attorney. I am going to open it up to any more questions, and I want to invite all of you to contact either our office or someone else's office. Get a consultation. When you go to their office, please bring your documents. At the very least, bring your passport, even if it's expired. Actually, that's the passport we want to see, is the one that you came in with, okay? So it's very nice to be speaking with everyone, and I hope this was informative. We have a few brochures from the USCIS that you're welcome to take. We also have FOIA applications here. We have green card applications here. We have a few other applications, more asylum applications. You're welcome to take them, read them, have your children draw flags on them later on. But, you know, again, this is your life. Take control over it in terms of immigration. You have people who are willing to help you. These good people in Papa Drame has done so much to encourage people taking control over their status. All right, any other questions before we close out? Yes, sir.
Quick question. Maybe the lady who came here through a petition from her husband.
Yeah.
Asylum.
Yeah.
And now she wanna file an adjustment.
Yes.
She been here like 3 years, but when she came here, she had a problem with a lady, and she had a fight, and she was here for like 3 nights, and she was released, and it was dismissed.
Okay.
And she was wondering, is that going to be something that would prevent her to have her...
That should not be a problem, especially if you're saying it's dismissed. Even if it were not dismissed, we'd get the disposition. She can explain away what happened. Yeah, that should not be a problem.
Okay, the other question is when she was coming, she had kids from a previous marriage, and those kids wasn't on the petition. Now she's going to file a green card. Can she apply for her children?
Marcia, why don't you answer that question in terms of how you deal with minor children? Because your friend was trying to come over here on a green card but didn't put her children from another marriage. At what point can you add those children?
You can still file the I-130 petition for these kids. You're going to have to prove that these are your biological children, though. And she's the mother of the children, so she can still file it. Additionally, her husband can file as the stepfather. Doesn't have to wait for her to become a green card holder. He can actually file. So that's something she should consider. And that wouldn't raise the same issues as they weren't on her application before.
You're going to do the DNA?
Well, they should have birth certificates that can be verified at the embassy. Once in a while we have to do a DNA, we have to do a DNA. I do DNA tests here. We send people in I have one client, lovely guy, is doing a cancellation of removal case. His wife is involved in a fake marriage, but they're living together. She won't get out of the fake marriage, even though I can help her get a green card by telling the truth. He's got 3 children with her. One of the children, she won't give him the birth certificate because she put this other guy's name on the birth certificate. I said, you know what? She doesn't want to cooperate and do the right thing. Go get a DNA test. Came back in 2 days. But I don't even know how much it was. It wasn't even that expensive. He got a place that was not like just a few $100s. Now he has proof that this is my daughter. He's lovely. He brings the girl into the office. Really sweet. But you can do DNA tests here. So we're going to get him a green card. She's probably going to lose her marriage case and be put in deportation proceedings and possibly face deportation. Yes, ma'am. You know what? Let's give her that microphone, Marcia, because she's a little low.
Okay. That's the 2 questions I need to ask. I have one for. I'm be here. My case. I'm be here for over 12 years. Over. I work in for the 11 years. I pay income tax. At the time she do it for the ULAC.
Yeah.
I went to the ULAC, but I never traveling.
Okay.
And she denied my case.
Who denied your case?
No, for the immigration.
Immigration denied your ULAC.
Yeah, ULAC case. And right now, what happened to me?
You have U.S. citizen children?
Yes.
Okay. You would qualify to do the tender case. The fact that you were denied ULAC is unfortunate. Possibly fortunate if you really didn't come in 1981, I don't know. But that will not prevent you from filing these other cases. You weren't before a judge. You were before an officer in a room, right? Yeah, so you can file a cancellation case if you meet those 3 points. Possibly a refugee case, depending on what your situation is. But for the 10 years, you've got the 10 years. Probably good moral character. It sounds like you've been working hard and you were honest with your taxes. I'm sure you're a very good mother. You take care of your children. We have to show the 3rd point that your children will suffer if they have to return to wherever you're from.
Okay.
That, you'll need to talk to somebody about
Okay,
that.
my passport,
Yeah.
where I have it at the time I entered in the here visa,
Yeah.
I lost it that.
What kind of passport was it, though? It was not from Europe. It was your passport from West Africa.
Yes.
No problem.
No problem? Okay. The second one, I have one sister. She married to one citizen American here. It's 5 years over. And the guy, she don't want to, help her for the, give him paper. What can I do? And she go to, listen, and she go to together in the lady at City Hall.
Okay.
Yes. After any time the lady ask about for the paper, the guy say, no, you wait.
Well, number 1, she should rethink that relationship. Number 2, she has to know she cannot force someone to petition for her. But, sometimes when you do immigration law, you face a lot of family problems. I don't know these people. I don't know what their relationship is, but sometimes it's the other way around, where the woman has the papers and doesn't want to file for the husband. And when I really get to talk to them and say, look, just tell me what are you afraid of? I find out that the woman is afraid he's going to get a green card, go back to West Africa and take another wife. But it happens. So she loves him, and she says, I have 2 children with this man. I feel that as long as I know he's going to stay with me, I'm safe. But if I give him a green card, I'm afraid he's going to leave me. And I've seen it happen. So now she's got to tell him that. And he has to say the truth. Honey, I love you. I would never want to do that. But I need to get a better job so I can buy you beautiful things. Okay? So sometimes there's something else going on. Well, it sounds like an issue of control. I don't know the people, but she should, well, if he's abusive to her, physically abusive, then, as Marcia mentioned, there's a case called VAWA, if he's like abusive.
Somebody have a good question, but it's funny. She said if you married someone, a citizen man, but before he filed for you, he passed away, what you gonna do?
Yeah, well, there's not much you can do, unfortunately, because the petition was never filed. Okay, anything else?
And
Oh, I'm sorry.
if somebody have asylum
Yes,
and want to bring your wife
yes,
from Senegal,
yes.
he has the right to do it?
He has the right to do it. Okay, that's a good point because it's a technical answer. When you get granted asylum, you are able to petition for your husband or your spouse or your wife and your children. Now, if you're married the day after you win your case, you're not going to be able to do it. You have to be married on the day you win your case. Okay? Now, if that person's granted asylum and they got married after they won their case, they're going to get a green card in 2 years or so. Once they get a green card, then they could start filing for their new husband in this, or new wife in this case. Uncontested divorces in New York take about 3 months, and then you can file immediately. Mr. Drame, how much longer do you want us to go on? A few more questions, and we'll wrap it up.
The real estate guy I was talking about before, he's here and he want to make a presentation for about 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know me, a lawyer, we keep going on. So thank you all very much. And